Hi, my name is George Kessel. I grew up in North Point Village. My childhood, I can honestly say, was great. I mean, I did the normal things that kids do, played ball and loved sports and rode bikes. And I went to school at Sparrows Point. I graduated in 1969. My uncle was an Episcopal priest. And when he got back from Germany, he was priest at Wilson Point, I guess. I'm not sure what the name of it is, the church. We went there when I was a kid. After I got to a certain age, I'm not going, you know. And that's when I really had nothing to do with going to church at all. And the rest of my life, the only time I was in a church was either a funeral, wedding. I got married in 1974. To Kathleen Schroeder, and we lived right across the street from each other. She had a boyfriend, and he was in Germany, and her prom was coming up, and she asked me to take her. I said, what about Eddie? I don't remember what she said, but I went to the prom with her, and we started going out. So I guess it wasn't as serious as I thought they were, you know. So that's, again, we got married. And I was working at Gino's at the time as an assistant manager. I didn't stay at a job too long because there was so many jobs back then. I would get bored and go to another one. But once I knew I was getting married, that's when I knew I had to settle down and find a regular job with benefits too. I had 3 children. Jenny was born in January of 1978. And Georgie was born in December of 1978. Michael was in 1980. So, well, Georgie, like I said, was born December of 78. And he was going to go in the hospital. He went in for tests where he was getting his tonsils and adenoids out. And he was like 5 or 6. And we found out that he was missing a gene. They called it muscular dystrophy because it had to do with his muscles. And what they explained it to us down at Hopkins was we have repair kits in our bodies. As we do stuff all day long and whatever you're doing, our body makes new muscle, I guess, or whatever it is. They told us he was missing this gene where when he used his muscles up, they were never replenished. So that was a little rough, you know. So we went to Hopkins for an interview, and like I said, he's like 6, I guess. And they said, does he play sports? And we said yes. He loves soccer. He lives and dies for soccer. They said, well, we recommend that you don't let him play sports. And if you don't do, you know, if you keep him out of sports and he doesn't do strenuous stuff, it may be by the time he's 45, he might then be in a wheelchair. Kathy and I talked about it. We could keep him from doing that, but you're depriving him of a childhood. And I told Kathy, I said, he could grow up to hate us for that. To not be able to participate at all and not even know it. What's going to happen in the meantime? You know. So we both decided to let him play. We figured as he got to a certain age, we would explain to him what is wrong with him. He played. His senior year, he got all county. When he got out of school, you could see him start to slow down. He put on a good show. He really did. I tell people too, I think I sort of was in denial. When Michael got married, his wife, she was talking to me one day, it was just us two, and she said, Michael feels like he was like the second child, you know, below Georgie. I wasn't surprised, you know, that he thought that way. But when I really knew Georgie was, well, basically he was dying. I told her, I said, every time I turn the corner, coming home from work, and I see him out washing his car or doing something, it's like a relief that he's still there. I don't mean anything against Michael, I love him to death. But I thought that I was going to lose Georgie, and eventually I did. I could see him getting weaker. Over the years, he had girlfriends, and this last one he had, Amy Garrison, he just seemed so happy. He come home one time, and Kathy, we were asking about her and all, and she had a boy and a girl from a boyfriend. I don't think they ever got married. He fell in love with those kids, and he told my wife and I that, he goes, I found my family. She had a trailer somewhere in Edgemere off of Lincoln. She called us one night, and they were there, and she said that he's passed out. And then Kathy said, call an ambulance. I was at work at the time, and Kathy called me and said, we're going to go up to Bayview, meet her there. I got there, they're taking care of him, and Kathy's talking to me, and we got invited up finally after they got him settled, and they said that his numbers are good. They just kept saying that. And I'm looking at him, he can barely breathe. And I'm thinking, how can his numbers be good and you can't even hardly breathe? So we went home, it was getting late. We said, we'll be back tomorrow. This was a Sunday, and a Sunday night. We got home, we weren't in bed a half an hour, and we got a call. He was in cardiac arrest. So we went back up, and he was gone. That was January 11th, 2004. He had passed away. I guess I was in shock, like any parent would be. Georgie was 25 when he died. The funeral, the viewing, he was young still. You're still at that age where you're still friends with everybody you went to school with. And the book had like 500 spaces in it, I think, and it was full. You couldn't even move in that viewing room at Duda-Brooks. Michael was still with Jennifer at the time. She come up and she asked me and Kathy, she goes, would you like Pastor Tim to come up and pray with you and talk to you? And I knew Pastor Tim through the Forbes family. So I said, sure. I said, that'd be nice. And Pastor Tim came up and he talked to us. He prayed with us. He never said one word about whether we came to church or not. But when he left, and I looked at Kathy and I said, we're going to church Sunday. And I was surprised I didn't have to pick her up off the floor, because she wanted me to go when we got married. She grew up Catholic, and I just refused. I was hard-hearted, like they say. When we walked in that door at this church, I knew some people. I knew Martha Wilson. I knew Bonnie Hendershot. Our kids grew up together with Bonnie. And we saw some other people that we knew. But the people that came up to us that we didn't even know, and Kathy looked at me and she said, you will never get this at a Catholic church. You're just a number. Well, she would know because she went, I didn't. So when Pastor Tim was talking, he was talking to me, And there's things that he says that are in the scripture that convict you. But I was happy. I found the Lord. And I always tell people that I would love to have my son back, but I don't want to lose the Lord. I don't want to trade. I couldn't do that. And I heard later that from something bad, something good always comes out of it. I always ask, can the Holy Spirit be with you even if you don't believe? because I swear he was with me that Wednesday night. That I was a different person after that. It did change my life. I was happy to come to church. I was learning and I was absorbing everything that Pastor Tim said. You had Wednesday night Bible study, and I told Kathy, I said, Sundays aren't enough. I need more. I want to find out. When I was younger, I looked through the Bible, and it was one of those typical things where the snake talks, or this happens, it's like, and I was younger and I didn't care. And getting back to my younger time, people had tried to talk to me about Jesus. And one truck driver at work asked me, he goes, don't you believe in God? And I said, I don't know if I need a God. I said, I want to treat people and have them treat me the same way. And he said, you already have Jesus in you. And I never forgot that. But I felt at home coming here. It was family. Because getting back to coming here and learning about God, like I said, it changed my life. I thought our marriage was really rocky. And I had a lot of hate in me against her. And in fact, I did have an 18-year plan. When my kids turned 18, I was gone. I started coming on Wednesday nights because I wanted to learn more and more about the Lord. It woke me up even more about being a husband, what it means. It changed everything. I couldn't live without the Lord now. We were coming for about 10 years. That's when Kathy was diagnosed with cancer. That was a big hit. Uterine cancer, 2012, maybe. And it got where the cancer was, we went to GBMC. They did everything, checking her out. And the one doctor said it was in the walls of the uterus. And 2014, it was in April when she passed away. She just wasn't getting any better. We were in a GBMC and they came in. The doctor says, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and he says, we're at the point where we can't do any more. So we're gonna send Kathy home. And so that's when we knew that it was only a matter of time. When she got home, I asked the lady from Gilchrist, I said, how long does she have? And she said, a month. She goes, she's eating not even a spoonful of pudding. The body can't live on that, and the body will start just going downhill. But when I came in the one time, Kathy said, do me a favor. And she said, talk in front of me. She goes, I want to know too. Michael and I went out to Holly Hills to make arrangements. And they have the booklet that shows you different things and all. And Kathy she loved her turtles. I mean, some of you know we used to have tortoises. They were probably 75 pounds, big. And she loved bingo. So we found both of those in the booklet to put on her plate. When I went home, we told her, and she says, keep the turtle, get rid of the bingo, and put something like an angel or something or a cross on it. She goes, I'm going to show my faith. So we did that. She did last about a month. I took off work. I had vacation time, so we used all that, and sick time. And whatever I needed, guys from where I worked donated time. When she passed away, then we had the viewing. And the owner of the company was there, one of them. We're talking. I said, Scott, I don't think I'm ready to come back to work just in a week or so. He says, take off as long as you want. It's covered. That was a comfort there. I'll tell you what, after she passed and we had the funeral, I went home and the house was empty. And I thought I was having a panic attack. I thought, I'm alone. I mean, we've been together, we grew up together, and we were together. We were married just short of 40 years. And I started really worrying about myself. You know, it was like in all these seconds. And then I remembered Michael had moved in with us to save money for a house. And I said, oh, he'll be back. And that got me through. So after Kathy passed away, 2014, I love this church, so I continued to come. And before Kathy had died, I had started teaching Sunday school, which was, and it still is, out of my box. I told Kathy one time, I said, I wish I could teach like Martha. And she said, you will never be a Martha. So anyway, I was still teaching here. I was coming down this hallway right here towards the sanctuary, and Regina Colvin, her husband, had passed, you know, not far after Kathy, I guess. You know, I'd been alone, I guess 3 years, and somewhere along in there, Charles had passed away. She was walking down the hallway. I had one of my new suits on, and she says, you look so good in that suit. And she gave me a hug, because she knew what I was going through, and she was going through the same thing. And I thought to myself, is it okay to say what I want, what I'm thinking? So I did. I said, and you're as beautiful as always. And I had always admired Charles and Regina as a couple. They looked so happy. And the thing is, she carried herself so well. So I said that. I don't know if it was, I tease her all the time that she hit on me first, but I don't know if it was the same day or a week later. I was coming down the hallway again, and it was like, it must have been after church. You know, the service was over, and it was crowded, and she was by the corner, by the office, and she come up to me, she says, can we talk sometime? She goes, I want to know what you're going through, because I'm going through stuff too. So I said, well, would you want to go to dinner? So we went to Red Lobster. We talked, and we talked, we ate, and then after we finished eating, I said, can we stay a while and talk? So we just kept talking. I told her, I said, your eyes just melted me that night. I said, I didn't want to leave. Then one day I called her and I said, would you want to meet somewhere and, you know, just talk? Oh, I said, well, how about meet at Eastern Regional Park and I'll stop at McDonald's. So I went and ordered, and I do not like onions. So I make sure mine doesn't have onions, but I figured everybody else in the world likes them, so I got hers with onion. So we get there and unwrapping the food, and I look over and she's picking the onions off. I said, that's the one. She doesn't like them either. So we had seen each other here and there, probably mostly at church though. We kept dating, and then we decided to get married. We got married on July 23rd of 2017. When I look back on my life and being what they call hard-hearted, and that was me, I just think that how, if I'd have known God earlier, how different my whole life would have been. I tell people, even when I didn't believe in the Lord, He was there for me, even as a teenager, because some of the stuff I did, I look back and the Lord's with you no matter what. He loves us. My kids are doing things that I wish they weren't doing, you know. I tell Regina to this day, and I say, the Lord brought me and her together. I said, I can't believe that you married me. Because I look at my past, and she seems like a little princess. You know, if somebody is going through some problems, and even if you're a believer, but you start having doubts, don't let that's the devil. That is the devil trying to pull you away. Jesus said, we will have tribulations. I can't speak for other people who have lost a child, I've lost a child. I know what it's like. But to me, somebody that lost a child through suicide, I don't have a clue. Because they're going to always ask, what did I miss? You know, why didn't I see that? You know, so since I've been with the Lord, it has changed my life tremendously. Jesus said it's not going to be easy, an easy life. People think that because we're Christians, everything's just handed to us. No, no, no. And I still have my sinful ways. Since I've invited the Lord into my life, I don't say He found me because He's there all the time. He is with me every second of my life. He's transformed me. I still have hang-ups. He will help you in any way that you let Him help. He is with you every second. Jesus Christ has brought freedom from sin and the shame that comes with it. And I am so, so thankful for that.